Welcome to the Chattanooga Beer Board meeting. All meeting attendees must sign in at the designated sign-in sheet at this podium. Please turn off or mute your electronic devices as to not disrupt the meeting. Any individual wishing to address the board must do so from this podium here. We do have the beer books, the ID books here over at this podium for any new applicants or anyone that would need to use those for checking IDs. Also, this meeting is now live streamed. And any new applicants who will need the beer card training, please get with Ms. Calandra Smith over here with the Hamilton County Coalition after the meeting. Can we get a motion for approval of the July 20th meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Dan Mayfield and a second from Ron Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So approved. We'll move on to the swearing in of witnesses.
Anyone that's going to be appointed to the podium today to speak needs to stand at this time and be sworn in. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that testimony you're giving today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with temporary beer applications, beer permit applications.
Representing Spectrum Concessions, doing business at event Moon River Music Festival. Aaron Wilkinson is making application for a temporary beer permit for 150 River Street at Coolidge Park. The organization has had a beer permit for such an event in the past. The event is scheduled for September the 9th through the 10th, 2023, for 12 o'clock p.m. The location is owned by the city of Chattanooga and is zoned RP.
And
Thank you.
good morning, I'm Aaron Wilkinson of Spectrum Concessions, representing the Moon River Music Festival.
Good morning. Questions from the board?
Wait. Let's see.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Good morning, Aaron. What kind of crowd do you have there?
It's a generally older crowd, mid-30s and older. It's a pretty mild.
Quantity, do you limit that, ticket sales to that to
Yeah,
a, no?
it's actually sold out at the moment, and it's sold out at 11,800. So
11,800.
Okay.
And how does that fit in that spot?
quite comfortably. It's with the park being as large as it is, it allows them for a lot of room. A lot of people just sit down on blankets and generally move around a little bit.
And one more, the crowd on the Walnut Street Bridge, do y'all monitor that?
We do not. The park itself is fenced off. Police monitor the bridge overhead.
I couldn't hear that.
The local police monitor the bridge overhead to any foot traffic going overhead. It is not within the actual festival site, so we don't monitor or allow for any beer sales from us.
Okay, but they are allowed to sit and watch?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayfield?
Tell us a little bit about how you're IDing and serving of alcohol.
So at each bar or point of sale, when the customer walks up, our POS has an app on it called Age ID. Every bartender or every server is trained and take a local THC class to be up to speed or knowledgeable about all the local laws or ordinances. They receive a license or ask for their license, ask if they're 21, and the app on our POS scans the barcode on the back of the license, and it registers to all 50 United States and a couple of others, and it is updated daily, and it'll allow us to know if the ID is fake, expired, or is legitimate.
Okay. Wow, very good.
Yeah, good morning, Aaron. Thanks for being here. What's your security plan?
So we have local security with Access Security and the local PD. They will be monitoring all entrance gates, emergency exits, and roaming throughout the park.
And I heard you have done this before.
This will be our 8th year.
8th year. What has it been like in the past?
Very mild. We've had 0 violations. It's been a very calm crowd. Everybody's kind of, again, somewhat family oriented. So it's either very young with their parents or just an older crowd that just comes and hangs out.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, is that all the questions from the board? Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Make a motion?
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Ron Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
With a second from Mr. Cole. Ms. Morris, your vote? I move to approve. Move to approve, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Yes. Reginald, yes?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, so approved. Thank you for doing business in Chattanooga. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next applicant, the Launchpad Inc. The Teal Music Event. Scarlett Bowman has made an application for a temporary beer permit for 1309 Chestnut Street at Coleridge Tower Museum. The organization has not had a beer permit for such an event in the past. The event is scheduled for August 5th, 2023, from 6 o'clock p.m. to 10:30 p.m. The location is managed by Kevin Loveday and is zoned UIX4.
And they too have met all requirements.
Good morning.
Good morning, Scarlett Bowman for the Launchpad Inc.
Yes. I am familiar with your events. You've had them at several different establishments. Will you share with the board about the Teal Project and your event?
Yes, so the Launchpad is a sober living community for women recovering from alcohol and drug addiction. It's kind of strange that we're serving alcohol, but, you know, not everyone that drinks alcohol is an alcoholic. So, plus if we get some people in there having a good time, we hope we'll make more money. So this is a fundraiser for our nonprofit. We've been in existence since 2020. This is our first event at a function at a place that didn't have their own beer license. Last year, we had it at the Honest Pint before they closed, and so we went through their beer license. This year, Scotty's on the River, one of my establishments, will be providing the bartenders, and they're all licensed bartenders.
Perfect. Questions from the board? Mr. Smith? Oh, I'm sorry, it went to Mr. Cole first. Go ahead.
All right. Well, good morning. Thank you for being here.
morning.
How are you handling the non-alcoholics or those who are recovering, still just tempted to drink or do whatever?
Well, we've actually
partake?
created what we're calling a Sober Curious bar. So we have a lot of mocktails, zero proof, and we do have some of our recovering women that are going to work the event with us. So we're creating a teal-colored mocktail as well as some other non-alcoholic. So we have a whole plethora of them.
Okay,
Of
thank you.
options. All right, Mr. Smith, I apologize.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this an outside event?
No, it's inside at the Coker Museum.
Okay. Because anybody had never been to Coker's Museum down there, you've missed a real treat.
It's going to be an awesome place to have
Is this
this.
the
We
first
have
time
two
there?
bands.
Is this your first time in there?
Yes.
Wow.
I was very impressed. I loved it.
That's a treat.
It is really, it's really cool in
It's
there.
a cool place, especially to have a band.
Yeah,
Yes. Good.
agreed.
Very good.
Mr. Mayfield?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve by Mr. Mayfield and a second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Morris? Approved. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mayfield?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Reginald?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Chair approves. So approved. Good luck with your event, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much.
Next applicant representing Five Woods Brewing Company LLC. The business is Jerry Fest. Philip Byron is making an application for a temporary beer permit for 1501 Long Street at Five Woods Brewing Company LLC. The business has not had such an event in the past, but has a consumer and distributor business at the location. The event is scheduled for August 5th, 2023, from 2 o'clock p.m. to 11:59 p.m. The location is owned by BYD Long LLC and is zoned USH4 and UCX3.
Anyone here on behalf of Five Wits Brewing Company? Awesome. Oh, sorry. They have met all requirements.
Thank you.
Philip is with me as well, if he needs to come up and speak. Tenley Brown, Tenley.
Okay. Good morning, Tinley.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
Tell the board about Jerry Fest.
Sure. So Jerry Fest is happening this Saturday, and it's from 2 p.m. We plan on it wrapping up around 9, but we put the application through to 11:59 just in case things run a little bit over. This is Something that we've never done before, but things that Five Wits Brewing will be selling beer in our own parking lot. So the parking lot is part of our lease. It will be blocked in, and all entry and exit points, and I say it'll be blocked in, you can't enter the parking lot unless you come in through the establishment. So, you'll get carded, go through our full process at our door. We will have security on site the entire time, in addition to a plethora of different staff members that work for us. Floating in and out of the building in the parking lot, we've hired access security to be security for the day. Yeah, kind of the highlights of it.
Questions from the board, Mr. Washington?
Good morning.
Hi.
This is located Long Street.
It
I'm
is.
trying to figure out.
Do you know where
Opposed to Main?
Short, yep, so it's Main and 17th is behind us. Do you know where the grocery bar used to be, Enzo's Grocery Market?
Or Market South?
Or Market South?
Yes.
It's that building, that's our building, and our parking lot is directly behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out the flow of
Cross streets.
traffic.
Gotcha,
Going
yeah.
down
So
that
it'll
way.
be, it's behind Main Street.
Behind Main
Yes.
Street.
Behind Main Street and right behind Battle Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be the
Exactly.
landmark.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and everything that we're doing is on our property. Nothing is happening outside on the streets. There's no closures. There's nothing like that. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Cole?
Is there a cost to attend?
Is there what?
Is there a cost?
Cost, yes. So there is entry fee to help pay for the bands.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Smith?
Make a motion to approve,
Okay, we have a motion to
Jerry
approve.
Fest.
We have a motion to approve Jerry Fest by Mr. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Cole? Okay. Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mayfield?
I'll recuse myself.
Okay, Ms. Banks? Or Bell?
Yes.
I don't know why I want to change your name, I'm sorry. Reginald, yes. JW?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so approved. Thank you.
Awesome,
For doing
thank you.
business in Chattanooga.
Do I have a minute to ask a couple other questions?
Sure, yeah, this is your time.
In the future, when we do events in our parking lot, we would like some clarification just based off our on-premise license as what constitutes us needing a special events permit, or I guess as y'all call it, a temporary event permit now, because this is on our property and part of our lease. I just want to make sure for future events that we're following whatever protocol, because there's been some confusion, I think, because it is part of our lease and on our property. And I don't know at what point can we, have that further discussion.
Right. That would be a question for the city attorney, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been discussing it with your legal counsel.
Yes.
And so our basis for that is, I think it's section 5-87 regarding open containers.
Okay,
Currently in the code, there's only certain sections of the city, which is the entertainment district, where you can have open containers.
okay,
A temporary beer permit covers open containers. So even though you have a permit for your premises, you still don't have, it's not a parklet, it's not a patio or some sort that's attached to your premises.
Okay.
So you still would need a temporary beer permit to cover the open container sort of.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
that clarifies. Thank you. Okay, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you, Tinley.
Absolutely.
Good luck with your event, too.
Next article, representing Brown Post, this was passed on the last meeting. Chattanooga shall the location is owned by Christy McDaniel and
Did we vote?
I do not see Ms. Shepherd here.
Ms. Shepherd put a note into the permit that she was withdrawing. Did you see that? I
Did I?
just saw that.
Let me see.
do you know which department she was with that?
I do not. Do you want to check the zoning one? That's the one that held her up.
I see that.
I was able to get that Chancery Court disposition as well from Chancellor Fleener. And she did, in fact, permanently suspend both of those for both of those units. I know there was some question in the last hearing regarding that. And then I'll pull it up here in a second or can show you guys after the hearing where.
I actually have copies of that order.
Okay. She also mentions the suspension. So she acknowledges the suspension.
Yes.
And then changes it to a permanent revocation, right?
Right, because she found that the establishment operated as one because of the open
Because of that door.
flow of people between both of them. Because
that's what
even
was
though
causing the
technically,
violence.
right,
Correct.
even though technically there were two different permits, she was like, it was on one premises, so.
Correct. Okay. Any questions on that one?
Okay, so it's just removed since we're not,
Well, she formally withdrew it, so.
yeah, formally withdrawn. We can just move on. Or do we need to make any? I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Cole.
Question for clarity, because I know they have one open permit on one of the suites.
I do believe so, that's correct. But so I believe it was a Suite C and Suite D issue. I believe the open permit is maybe A.
For the store that's open.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact suite. I would have to look it up, or maybe Mr. McDaniel, he's here, maybe he could elaborate.
And so what you're saying is all of the rest of the suites have been permanently suspended?
So according to the disposition from the chancellor, the Night Owl and then the Gentleman's Club suites, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. McDonald, was Suite C and Suite D?
Let me see. I believe you're correct.
I know Ms. Shepherd was proposing or applying for Suite D, which was the old Gentleman's Club, and that was the one that was really in question because the board had done a temporary suspension, but then that's where Chancellor came in and addressed the issue of why the violence was happening next door, revoking permanently the one next door, which was the Night Owl, and then permanently revoking as well the Gentleman's Club, which was Suite D. So
Right.
you're the city attorney. You would have to see if that applied to the whole address or just simply the suites when it comes to new permits. But there is one additional, at least that I know of, existing permit at that same address in a separate suite.
Right. It just affects the suites that were the Night Owl and the Gentleman's Club.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Right. Do we need to make a motion? We don't have to, since they withdrawn, we don't have to do anything, correct?
right.
Okay, so we'll move on to the new beer permit applications.
Representing 7-Eleven Inc., doing business at 7-Eleven, 42147H. SEJ Asset Management and Investment Company, 100%, is making application to engage in the sale of carryout beer at 5208 Highway 153. The group has not had a beer permit for this location in the past, but has a beer permit for another 7-Eleven store in the city. The location is owned by Octane Partners, 153 LLC, and is zoned C2.
It looks like the only thing that was held up this morning was legal. I don't know if you.
I approved it.
Good to go. All right, then they're good to go on our end. with all
Great.
requirements.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Nice to see everybody again. Don Poplar, represents 7-Eleven. Yeah, just here seeking beer permit for, I think it's our 6th store in the Chattanooga area, so.
Okay.
How many?
I believe we have 6 now. I don't know, I get confused. I have like 18, so.
Questions from the board? Mr. Mayfield?
So y'all are ready to open?
Yes, sir. We're scheduled to open on the 17th of August, if all
Okay.
goes well here.
Very good. I'll make a motion, we approve the application unless there's another question from anyone.
I'll second it.
All right.
We have a motion to approve by Dan Mayfield, a second from Ron Smith. Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mayfield?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Washington? Yes. Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so approved. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for doing business and keep it open, Elm.
Next Next applicant representing Agape Azul Mexican Bar and Grill Inc. Ruben Anaya and Loris Anaya are making application related to sell consumer beer at 4604 Skyview Drive. The two have not had a beer permit for this location in the past. The pending application reflects a change a change of ownership and a name change. The business was formerly Los Margaritas Inc., doing business as Los Margaritas 2, operated by Abdon Vasquez and Leonor Banderas. The location is owned by Los Margaritas Inc. and is zoned C2.
Saw a note this morning on the application that maybe building was holding it up. I don't think they've signed off on it yet. I think the gentleman here wanted to translate for the owner, or interpret.
Wait a minute, go.
Okay, so it's his son.
Couldn't hear what you said.
Sorry. So it looks like building is the only thing that's being held up right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe his son's going to translate for him.
Right.
Okay.
Or does he need to be
Good
sworn
morning.
in?
How are you?
What is your name?
My name is Kevin Anaya.
Spell your name.
Kevin, last name Anaya.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Now, sir, you've already been sworn in, right?
Yeah.
Earlier?
Yes.
Were you sworn in at that time too?
Yes,
Okay, well, I need to swear you in as a translator or interpreter.
yes, ma'am.
And you will be interpreting from English to Spanish and then from Spanish to English, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Go ahead.
Good morning, buenos dias.
Good morning.
Please share with the board about your business that you're
Yes.
acquiring.
Yes, of course. So we are opening up a family-oriented
Pull that
restaurant.
microphone down, look.
Come closer to the microphone. He's having a hard time hearing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We are opening up a family-oriented restaurant. It's going to be on Skyview Drive. It's going to hold up to a maximum capacity of 256 people.
Okay.
And it's going to be open from Monday through Thursday from 11 to 10, on Fridays and Saturdays from 11 to 11, and on Sundays from 11:30 to 10.
Okay. Will you also be having your TABC license for liquor?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you already acquired it?
Yes, we already got the liquor license approved. Everything on that end is good.
Perfect. Questions from the board? Mr. Mayfield?
Is there a question, is there a question from building?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there's a note in building, it says the rear kitchen emergency light is not working, need signage for rear electrical room and adjust door to open properly. The front double door needs to have bars removed and handle locks removed and panic bars installed for egress purpose. The single door at the bar is not sufficient for the occupancy load. Locked during business hours, look at attachment of locked bar doors. And it's showing as on hold for building. So,
Okay. So do you understand that the building department has not approved the application yet because of what we just heard?
Okay.
So those corrections have to be made before they will approve it, and we cannot act until they approve it.
Okay.
Am I correct there?
well, what we have done in the past is
Okay.
approve pending building approval. Or
Okay.
you can pass it, a couple of weeks to get them time to fix this issue and approve them then. So it's just however y'all want to deal with that.
Do you have a follow-up before I go to other questions? Okay.
So
Mr.
in
Cole?
regards to some of the things that y'all just mentioned, we have already gone and fixed them. Now, we did order for the double doors, the push bar that they required, and we're just waiting for it to arrive. We're just waiting for it to get here on Friday.
Okay.
And about the electrical, we already put up a sign that says danger and caution, and we are gonna write up today that it's an electrical system in there, so people would be careful not to go in there. And with the exit, when they checked the emergency lights, it's a little button, and they were trying to push it open with the broom, and it was too thick for the entry hole.
Yeah.
So that's why that one didn't
Okay.
check off.
So they'll have to come back to inspect, to check all of those things before they'll let you pass, but let me go to the next question. Are you done, Mr. Cole, or do you?
Well, I was going to make a motion to pass
Okay.
until.
Do you have a
that is
question,
fixed.
Mr. Smith, or were you going to make a motion?
Man, you,
Yeah, well, you're
I have a
next.
question.
Okay, 1 second, Mr. Cole.
are you open now, doing business now?
So we're open under the Las Margaritas. It's not officially ours yet. So we're still operating under Las Margaritas too. It's not, we haven't completely bought it.
But you're not serving alcohol under their permit? Okay,
You're not serving alcohol? Okay,
under their permit, correct?
okay.
All right.
Any other questions from the
Yeah.
board or
Let
motions?
me in.
You're in, it says you're active.
Okay. Yes, my next question is, the old permit, are you aware of where it is? Is it in the building? Can you?
El último, el permiso viejo, si está en el edificio.
Sí, pues están trabajando ellos. Sí, los permisos, sí.
Sí, esto sí está en el edificio viejo.
Pues debe de, sí.
It's, as far as we're concerned, it's in the old the permit's in the building.
It's in the building?
If you have it, you need to return it.
Well, you can't return it
So you get a new one.
until you get your other permit, but we want you to take that off the wall, sign it, say surrender on it, and return it to Miss Lawrence.
Okay.
And get it out to her, you can mail it to her out on the Everco Highway.
So where specifically do we mail it to? Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, entonces,
All right, so Mr. Cole, do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion to pass until all of the building inspection has been approved and ready.
Okay, do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a motion to pass until all building inspections are approved, second by Tiffany. Ms. Morris? Approve. Mr. Smith?
Well, I'm wrestling with this because we've come to make that, we know that until building signs off on it, they cannot get a permit.
Correct.
And so we've taken a new approach on this here lately, I think, that we can go ahead and approve this, and then when the building signs off on it, it's there for them. They don't have to wait till the next meeting.
Right.
So I'm gonna vote no.
You're voting no? Okay. Mr. Mayfield?
I think I agree with Ron, no.
Okay. Ms.
Yes.
Bell? Yes. Reginald?
Yes.
Mr. Paul? So we have, and chair votes yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is approved based on the building inspection being approved.
Wait a minute.
Based on it.
No.
That's not the motion that, Mr. Cole made. He made a motion to pass it until.
I apologize. I got confused on that. I apologize. So it's passed to the next meeting in 2 weeks so that building can come back out and inspect and pass you so that we can pass the permit. Does that make sense?
So it's passed till the next meeting in 2 weeks then?
Correct. You'll come back in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
As soon, and be sure and follow up, as soon as you've made all the changes, you need to contact the building inspection people and say, we need you out here to do that. So stay on top of that.
And the
Yes, sir.
surrender of the license.
And the surrender of the old permit.
Yeah, that we can do that, but calling them and getting in their schedule is important.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Best of luck. Sorry about that. I got that switched. All right, so we have no record violations, no record applications. We have one beer violation, but that has been passed to the next meeting due to they can't attend. Is that correct?
Yes,
You have to make a motion to pass.
Due to what, I'm sorry? I need to pass it to what?
The, council for westbound is not available today.
So we need to make a motion to pass it.
Yes.
So we need a motion to pass it to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, go
We
ahead,
have,
Tiffany.
we have a motion by Tiffany Bell.
Second.
And a second by Reginald. Ms. Morris? Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mayfield?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Washington?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so it is passed to the next meeting. All right. So next, we are up to discussion. What? I didn't miss anything? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so per the court's order, the security plan that was breached on June 28th with the blue light, June 23rd with the blue light has been filed under seal. And the board has had,
I'm sorry.
She can't hear you.
No, I had to.
I don't know, the mics don't seem to be as loud today or something.
can you hear me now?
It's still kind of low.
That's mine, but see if yours is turned, you need to turn yours up, tie the knob, and see if that helps. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
And I can see your mouth too.
Okay.
Name plates right in your face.
Okay, so, according to the court order, the, security plan reached with the blue light on June 23rd has been, filed under seal with the court. The board has had an opportunity to review the plan, and now it is up to the board to either approve the plan or not. And so we will be voting on the plan today.
Okay.
So,
So, Mr. Mayfield, do you have, okay, let's make sure.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the security plan submitted on June 23rd.
Second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Dan Mayfield and a second from Ron Smith. Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Approve. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Or Mr. Smith, I'm sorry? Mr. Mayfield?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Washington?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so approved. Is there any other topics that anyone would like to discuss?
Yes.
Mr. Cole, yes.
Can you just rephrase all of that, what the chance recorder is saying regarding, because this guy, he must go by the security plan, right?
right, the security plan is enforceable by the court, as of the court's ruling on June 23rd. And now that the board has approved it, it will remain enforceable until the foreseeable future.
Does the court know that he has already broken those violations thereafter in the whole process?
We have brought those up in various motions, and that's to be handled during the court on August 15th and 16th.
Okay. So what we just did is say there is a security plan
Yes,
in place.
that's all it
Yes.
says.
And there was no security plan in place before, is what I'm saying.
No, there
there
was.
was.
There was. This is just confirming. The security plan was put into effect subject to the beer board's approval. So
So now we approve.
So now we've approved it.
now you've approved it, so it will remain enforceable.
Gotcha. All right, thank you,
And
Madam
sealed.
Chair.
Thank you. Any other items of discussion to move towards that anyone wants to discuss? All right, we'll move on to public comments. If there's anyone that would like to address the board, you may speak for 3 minutes to this podium right here.
Good morning, everyone. Calandra Smith, Hamilton County Coalition, and I won't take up 3 minutes.
Good morning. I don't think it moves
Can y'all hear me?
anymore. Yeah, it doesn't move anymore.
Okay. I just had, I think, maybe a couple questions, or maybe even one. One is going back to the temporary permits. Again, I'm still a little bit confused on who has certified TABC trainers and who do not, and so meaning who is required to come through the training. A lot of times they come through here and I don't hear the question asked about, are you using a certified, bartender or a certified trainer? So I'm not really sure if they are needing to be trained. In the past, you guys were doing that, but it hasn't been done in a while. And then another thing, the 7-Eleven that was just approved, I've heard him mention that he had several other stores. I've never trained any of them, so I'm assuming that there's some other training that maybe has already been agreed upon. That store sells beer, but I don't know that they sell any other kind of beverages, but I've never trained any of the employees from any of the 7-Elevens. So I'm not really sure how many are within the city, and maybe the other ones are in the county, but I have not done any training for that. So again, when it comes to new applicants, I'm not really sure if they still have that true understanding of the mandatory required training. And I know that, I don't know if it's on the portal or not. I don't know how they are receiving when they should be required to get that training. But maybe as a reminder from the members, if you guys could just remind them, hey, if you are not certified through a TABC, you need to go through that mandatory training. I just want to make sure that we're not missing any of the new applicants that are coming through as it relates to their training. And so that was my only question.
So what, I'm thinking what could be happening is, in the instance of the larger corporate-owned stores, they've got the in-house training systems, and unless we bring it to their attention, they're just assuming that that meets their needs.
So how do we go about
Right.
ensuring that they receive the
Then we've got
mandatory
to
training for the board?
re-emphasize to
Yes,
them.
okay.
Yeah, but
Okay,
we can
thank you,
reemphasize
Calandra.
it, but how do we know
Thank you.
that what's the connection here that we know that they've gone through it? Because I'm not sure either. I mean, we bring it up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, like
how
I
that
said, I
gets to
didn't
you.
know about him until he came up and mentioned that. And then I wrote a little note on my form saying, hey, just follow it to make sure that he doesn't already have some kind of certification that was required, that has already met the mandate.
Right,
I know
right.
in the past, especially when special events have come up, they have had other type of trainings through their corporations, but they were still required to come through this training if they were not TABC certified, and they have been in compliance with that.
Right,
So I
if
just
they
wanted to
were
make that
not
known.
TABC certified.
If they were not
Right, okay.
TABC certified, yes.
Mr. Smith?
That was my question. All right, does 7-Eleven not sell wine?
No.
No.
They do
They're
not?
beer
Yeah, that
owned.
was my question too, Mr. Smith. So I was like, maybe they sell wine and it's under that, but if they don't, then
Yeah,
I think they
right,
need to
okay.
be required for
I
the
thought they
training.
did, Coach.
Yeah, they don't. But Mr. Sergeant Wood, can you
I was just going to say,
highlight for us?
it is actually in the beer code that they're supposed to have training. It's something that we could add maybe on the OpenGov site, specifically Hamilton County Coalition for Beer Training.
I think that should.
So that's something I
yeah,
can follow
think
up with
so.
Roberta about,
I
and see if
think,
we can
yeah.
get that added on there, in a emphasized type manner.
Yeah, I think that would be good, because, I mean, the follow-up would fall into your department too, versus, we're not going to get that follow-up. So I think that makes sense. Mr. Cole?
So are we saying on special events and they're serving, they need this training also?
If they don't have the TABC training, then they need Hamilton County, one or the other. It's required by the ordinance, like Sergeant Wood said. So, Ms. Bertha, if you don't mind, could you follow up with 7-Eleven and the other applicants today?
So they've got, my understanding is they have one operational store right now, and that's on Amnicola Highway. When I leave here, I will go there specifically and make sure they understand. As a matter of fact, I'll give them Ms. Calandra's card, and they should be contacting you today, once I leave there. One thing I wanted to kind of emphasize a little bit on, I think some folks, not picking on anybody, because I got confused by special gathering and then these temporary events, right? Special gathering, you're bringing your own beer. Nobody there is selling beer, right? Your special event, which we renamed temporary beer, is when you would want to make sure that those folks are certified, either beer trained or TABC.
Got it.
So it took me a minute to get my brain wrapped around that, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody kind of understood that, so.
So what I heard you say,
what if they have
what I
an
heard you
event
say is
that weekend?
special events, people are bringing theirs and there's no selling.
Special gathering,
Special gatherings.
yes.
Well, first of all, they're supposed to come in earlier than the weekend of. I mean,
But some of these people aren't.
But well, I know, that's true, but some of it is too, like in that instance of the Jerry Fest, they're supplying all TABC permit bartenders, right? So they don't need to go through that beer card training. That's what that difference, but I guess in the end, it's the making sure that it actually happens. That's the connection there, because
Correct.
we can advise folks, but we're not managing that aspect of it. So we need to
Right.
make sure that gets, that those dots connect.
That would be something me as the inspector, I could pop in and say, hey, yeah, you guys say you're TABC, where's your license?
Right.
Or where's your beer training certificate?
And if it's on the application, the applicants are required to swear to those answers. So if they say they've got that training and then they don't, then when, Sergeant Wood or another beer inspector goes there and requests to see their information.
So do you give out like a certificate for them?
Yes.
Okay. So is there any way that
I can send those to both.
okay.
Okay.
So do those get uploaded into, the system?
They go into their file.
In their file? Okay.
And is that file available to anyone or just that company, or if someone just wants to go out there and do a spot check to see if they have done that? How do we know? How is it known? Is there a way for us to see? They should.
Yeah, they should have a copy.
I make sure that each of the establishments get a copy, and I let them know that if they ever are involved in any type of alcohol compliance check through the city, that they will ask them for that if it was a required during their application. And then there's also times that he'll reach out to me while he's there and say, hey, did you train so-and-so? And I can say yes or no.
Okay.
So we do have a way of trying to keep up with that and making sure that people have their certificates on file.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Thank goodness for Calandra.
That's right.
Lifesaver.
All right. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Gary Rudolph. I live at 904 East 14th Street with my family there. I'm here to get a little clarity on what is considered a nuisance with regard to some of the establishments that have been granted beer licenses. Also about the noise ordinance. I need to know who enforces the noise ordinance. I'm the closest neighbor to Shady's Bar at 1402 Cemetery Avenue, other than the Islamic Center. Shady's opened in the spring, and it has been torture on my family and my neighbors since they opened. They just have a true disregard or disrespect for the fact that people live there. The owner has said to me that he can't do anything about what happens before the people get inside of his establishment. Someone has to, because what we're dealing with is they park in our driveway, they park across our driveway, they break bottles in our yard, they throw the trash cans on the ground. They've thrown a beer, an entire beer, not just a beer can, and a full can of beer through a rear window of my house. I have, just decided that I'm not gonna have a confrontation with these young people, because they're just kids, knuckleheads like me when I was in my 20s and 30s, and they're somebody's child. I don't want to deal with them. I'm trying to deal with the owner to say something has to be done. But my real issue is this amplified music that they play all night. This is a 24-hour-a-day operation. I don't know if you all know that. They were granted an opportunity to close at 3 o'clock in the morning. But at 4 o'clock, they're pushing trash cans across the parking lot. The dumpster truck comes and the beer trucks come to restock. And I'm sleep deprived. I have health issues, and it's just been real tough on me and my family. At this point, not only can we not enjoy our home, but we can't even sell it. No one wants to live there. So it's been really tough, and I'm just wanting to know what constitutes a nuisance. I mean, it may not be a nuisance for someone in Brainerd, but they're under my window. It's a nuisance. They have a food truck that parks in the handicapped parking space 3-4 days a week and serve Thai food. I have to smell that. I don't like Thai food. I'm sorry. And then, I smell marijuana all night. So it's killing me.
I have a question. So are you reporting anything to the police?
Yes, I
You
call
are
the
making
police
reports?
about every other night. And they've come out and were told that, one of the staff people at Shady's told the police that they were exempt from the noise ordinance.
Oh, no way.
Well, they presented some piece of paper or something. I called the police back and said, what happened? They're still playing that music, and that's what the dispatcher said to me. They're exempt from the noise ordinance.
No.
That's what they're telling them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Smith?
Yes, are you reporting that on the 911 call?
I called the non-emergency.
Non-emergency number, you're doing that,
2525.
okay.
Yes.
Good.
All right, Mr.
And
May.
I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm glad that you're doing that, because that way that he can pull up a report and see how many calls comes in. And that's important, because it's important.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayfield?
Officer Woods,
Yes, sir.
can you pay them a visit
Oh, absolutely.
and tell them it's on our radar?
They're definitely confused about the amplified music. It doesn't just exempt you to run all the time. There's still very much limitations, as y'all are aware of, even in that amplified music area, so, yes.
Yeah, if you would, for the board's sake, I would appreciate it very much, and for this gentleman's sake, that
Absolutely.
you officially go visit them and say, get your act together.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Well, and what else he said, talking about blocking driveways?
Yes,
All
the
that,
whole,
Now, I can tell you, Patrol has emailed me in regards to like the food truck situation. I've directed them to city code. They can actually cite them to city court for that. Those are all offenses, traffic offenses per se. Now, with them throwing, beer bottles and that kind of stuff in the yard, that's something I can address because they're supposed to keep their area clean and not, litter on other folks' property, et cetera. So that's a conversation, and by all means, if you've got photographs or something like that,
I do.
yes, good.
then that's something that I can bring before the board as well.
We hear you very loud and clear.
So if you got city code involved, basically they're around all this because of that UGC zoning there. So basically, zoning, meetings or whomever, because if they're supposed to have a certain amount of parking spaces in zoning with their UGC, and if they're taken up by this food truck, something's not cohesive, so.
Sure.
They have 7 parking spaces, and on any given night, there's 150 cars lined down 5 blocks along 14th Street.
That's one of the weaknesses of UTC is the
It is.
parking requirement is minimal.
So what is their hours of operation?
24 hours a day.
It's not supposed to be.
They operate a deli that said all-day deli, that's the name of it. And so they start early, and then they go until 3 o'clock in the night. Patrons leave about 4, and then they start restocking. And it's right under my window.
Yeah.
Car door slamming, and I don't get any sleep.
I mean, yeah, if you're in a bar that's open till 3, you're not leaving till
No.
4:35 because you're cleaning up and getting people out and doing all of that. Yeah, it's true.
Looking on their, Google has them, their hours of operation Monday through, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 3 a.m.
And that should be something discussed with the UGC anyway, cause.
We hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and we're gonna,
Thank you all.
and continue to document what's going on.
Will do.
For
That will help me
you and
tremendously.
I will do.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Any additional public comments? Yes, sir. Come on.
Good morning.
Please introduce yourself. Welcome.
My name's Hamid Al-Amin. I'm with the Islamic Center.
Yes, sir.
And basically, I'm here to echo what Mr. Rudolph just told you all. We're just maybe 30 feet from them. We were here in April. They're open from 11 to 3 in the morning, and we're suffering the same thing that he is suffering. They're urinating on our buildings. I walked out the other night, there was a guy with his private out urinating right on the side of our mosque.
Gotta be kidding.
They have people from the door of Shady's Corner waiting to get in, and it comes all the way up to our window where we worship. They're talking about sex, everything else under our window. I got ring video of them sleeping on our door, intoxicated.
Good.
Smoking blunts on our mosque door. And this is every day, every weekend, they're open like this. And Mr. Healy, he's not gonna work with you. When they had the shooting just a few months ago, I was there. When I went to talk to the police, he came out there and interrupted me and told me to shut the F up 3 times in front of the police. And the police didn't do anything. Like Mr. Rudolph said, they have 7 parking places. They have at least 200 cars down there at any time. We purchased the First Corinthians Baptist Church to rent it out, use it as a hall. We can't even use it now. Nobody want to come down there because there's no place to park. They're either going to have to park across the street and risk their lives of coming across that 4-lane or just stay at home. So, I mean, our community has suffered since April. I mean, you all denied them initially, and then a week later you reversed it. And nobody know why that happened. And ever since then, our community has been upside down, lost members. These people have no respect for anybody. They're getting in front of our ring camera at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Shady's Corner, Shady's Corner,
Oh, wow.
Islamic Center, you lost. All of this stuff on our ring camera. We have footage of this. And you all say, call the police. They have security there. I used to film a lot of things that go on, and the security would turn their lights on my camera to blind me from even filming anything down there. Security is not going to do anything down there. We have a little place in the back of our building that's a grassy area, the only place we have. And they take that parking. Beer cans, all kind of stuff in the mornings when I go there, I have to pick up. Cars left over from people too intoxicated to drive home. Cars parked all up and down the street. It's amazing, and people are amazed how a business can come and dominate a community like Shady's Corner have. I mean, they must know somebody or who they know to allow this to happen, and nobody do anything about it. I've asked for relief from Mr. Strickland that worked for the Department of Public Works about parking. We have no relief, we have nothing. So I'm here today basically to echo what Mr. Rudolph's saying. He's telling the truth. You can ride down there any time of the day from 11 to 3 and beyond, and it's a circus on 1410 Cemetery Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Felton, you
So I do have a question. So is there any way that they can have like towing signs there? You know how,
We're talking about a different
if it's their property?
apartment now.
We
Yes,
have
private
that.
property can tow.
We
Yeah.
have that.
So have you done that? Have
I
you,
had to put up signs. I called the towing company. The towing company said you have to have a sign up.
okay,
And so I put signs up. Since that incident, it's been like 2 cars parked there. And I went to their security, and the security made an announcement over the intercom, and they came and moved the vehicles. And I just did that out of courtesy to keep from having to move it.
but any other time, if you could, I mean, since you're having so many issues, if you could just go ahead and call and get it towed, then that might can help your process of people parking in that lot.
No, we will, but I mean, we have at least 250 families. We're there all during the day. We can't have
So you
dinner.
don't know whose
No,
car
I
is
mean,
who?
these, like he said, these are young kids. They don't care about anything.
Right.
They just want to pull up the apartment complex behind us. They have put up signs. They taking their parking place. Top Flight, I spoke to the owner there. He had to put up, they're parking down in his docks where his trucks can't even get down there and unload anymore.
Right.
Everybody, and people are asking, why is he allowed to do this? Why?
I've turned it right.
Are you done, Tiffany? I was going to move.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
done.
Mr. Smith?
Well, I was just going to ask you, to follow up with, not from Mr. Rudolph, do you call 911 or the non-emergency number and report this stuff?
We have members that do call.
And I understand that that gets monotonous and you think it's not doing, but nobody's going to know it unless it's really on a report that they can print out. So I
Well,
think
I was doing video there all the time.
I know.
And sending it out to some of you all.
Okay.
But, you know, the security blinded my phone, and my family told me to kind of step away from that.
Yeah, I
You know, the
understand
city's not really doing anything about it. Mr. Healy is down there
Well-
very arrogant like, why get in a confrontation with this man like this? So our community's kind of
Well, you-
fed up with all of what's going on down there now. We have no relief whatsoever.
Right.
Imagine
Well-
coming to your place of worship
Oh,
and you
I-
have no place to park,
I would. I
no
would be-
place. They set beer cans in our windowsill. I got video of a girl laying out in our doorstep, two drunk, these are all his customers.
Yeah.
Coming up to our place. We're trying to have service. They're right under our window, talking about the most vulgar things. And if you go out there and say something to them, it's just gonna be a confrontation.
Right, right.
So I mean, it's in your hands, the people who have authority to change it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any additional public comments from anyone in the audience? All right, before we adjourn, I just want to say thank you to Tom Wadsworth for everything you've done in your retirement. You've been coming to these meetings and helping us for, over 40 years?
40 years,
40 years. Thank you for everything you've done.
13 days.
Thank you for everything you've done for the service of the community. We really appreciate you. We're going to miss you. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? All right. We are.